Welcome to our countdown of the 7 conspiracy theories that turned out to be true. These stories show that sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction. Mind control experiments, fake terrorist attacks. It's the stuff of pulpy spy novels, but as we'll see, reality can be far more outlandish. So buckle up, because we're about to dive deep into the murky world of government secrets, unethical experiments, and political scandals. It's a journey that might just leave you questioning everything you thought you knew. Right, first up, Watergate. Now, most people associate Watergate with a hotel, and fair enough, it is a hotel. But it's also so much more than that. It's synonymous with political scandal, with the downfall of a president, and with a really, really bad break-in. Think about it. A bungled burglary at the Democratic National Committee headquarters seems small, right? Except it wasn't small. It was a tiny ripple that exposed a tidal wave of corruption. The real scandal wasn't the break-in, it was the cover-up. The Nixon administration went into overdrive trying to bury this thing. Nixon, bless his paranoid little heart, had recorded practically every conversation in the Oval Office. These tapes became the smoking gun, revealing the extent of the cover-up and Nixon's direct involvement. Nixon, facing impeachment, resigned in disgrace. Now let's move on to our next conspiracy theory that turned out to be horrifyingly true. The Tuskegee Syphilis Study. For 40 years, the U.S. Public Health Service conducted a study on African-American men with syphilis in Macon County, Alabama. And the worst part, they didn't treat them. These men, many of them poor sharecroppers, were told they were receiving free health care. They were given placebos, aspirin, and other ineffective treatments. The researchers wanted to observe the natural progression of the disease, even as effective treatments became available. Penicillin, a known cure for syphilis, was withheld from these men. The researchers actively prevented the men from receiving treatment elsewhere. It's a chilling example of medical exploitation, a complete disregard for human life in the name of science. It wasn't until 1972, after a whistleblower leaked information to the press, that the study was finally halted. The public outcry was immense. The Tuskegee Syphilis Study exposed the deep-seated racism within the American medical system. The legacy of Tuskegee continues to impact healthcare, particularly within the African-American community. The study serves as a stark warning against the dangers of unchecked power and the dehumanization of vulnerable populations. MKUltra. It sounds like something out of a science fiction movie, right? Mind control, brainwashing, secret government experiments, except it wasn't fiction. It was a real CIA program, and it was as messed up as it sounds. The goal? To develop mind control techniques, to create the perfect assassin, the ultimate spy. The methods, well, they were creative. Let's just say they involved a lot of drugs. LSD in particular was a favorite. Subjects were dosed without their knowledge or consent, often leading to terrifying hallucinations and psychological trauma. The CIA also experimented with hypnosis, sensory deprivation, and other methods, all in the pursuit of mind control. These experiments were conducted on unwitting subjects, prisoners, mental patients, even ordinary citizens. The program was shrouded in secrecy, hidden from public view for decades. MKUltra is a chilling reminder of the dangers of unchecked government power and the potential for abuse in the name of national security. The program was eventually shut down, but the damage was done. Chapter 4. COINTELPRO. Another acronym, another disturbing story of government overreach. This time it's the FBI's turn. COINTELPRO, short for Counterintelligence Program, was a series of covert and often illegal projects aimed at surveilling, infiltrating, and disrupting domestic political organizations. The FBI, under the leadership of J. Edgar Hoover, targeted a wide range of groups: civil rights activists, anti-war protesters, feminist organizations, even environmental groups. Anyone deemed a threat to the status quo was fair game. The tactics employed were dirty, to say the least. They used wiretaps, informants, and infiltration to gather information on these groups. They spread disinformation, instigated violence, and even attempted to discredit leaders through character assassination. Martin Luther King Jr. was a particular target of the FBI's surveillance and harassment. It wasn't until the 1970s, after a break-in at an FBI office revealed documents detailing COINTELPRO's activities, that the program came to light. COINTELPRO exposed the FBI's willingness to violate civil liberties in the name of national security. It's a story that remains relevant today, a reminder of the importance of protecting our right to free speech and assembly. Chapter 5. Operation Northwoods, False Flags and Phantom Enemies. Operation Northwoods. This one is truly mind-boggling. It's a plan that thankfully was never implemented, but the mere fact that it was even considered is deeply disturbing. In the early 1960s, the US Department of Defense developed a plan to stage false flag terrorist attacks on American soil. The goal? To justify military intervention in Cuba. The plan involved hijacking planes, sinking boats, even simulating acts of terrorism in American cities. They were willing to sacrifice American lives to create a pretext for war. The proposal was so outrageous that even President Kennedy rejected it. It remained classified for decades, hidden from public view. It wasn't until the 1990s, when the documents were declassified, that the full extent of the plan became known. Operation Northwoods is a chilling example of the lengths some were willing to go to during the Cold War. It's a reminder of the dangers of manufactured crises and the potential for government deception. Operation Northwoods serves as a stark reminder of the importance of critical thinking and the need to question official narratives. Chapter 6. The Iran-Contra Affair, a tangled web of lies, a tale of secret arms deals, covert operations and political maneuvering that rocked the Reagan administration. The US secretly sold arms to Iran to secure the release of American hostages in Lebanon. The money was funneled to the Contras, violating a congressional ban. The operation was a tangled web of lies and deceit. The scandal led to hearings, investigations and political fallout. The affair eroded public trust in government. Chapter 7. The Pentagon Papers, the truth about Vietnam. A classic example of whistleblowing and the power of the press. In 1971, Daniel Ellsberg leaked a top-secret study to the New York Times. The Pentagon Papers detailed US involvement in Vietnam. The government had misled the public about the war. Exaggerated progress, downplayed casualties, hidden involvement. The revelations sent shockwaves through the country. A landmark Supreme Court case affirmed the right to publish. The Pentagon Papers is a story of courage and truth-telling. These examples remind us that while many conspiracy theories are unfounded, some have been validated through investigations and historical evidence, often revealing significant ethical violations or political misconduct. These stories are not just historical footnotes, they are cautionary tales about the dangers of unchecked power, the importance of transparency, and the need for a vigilant citizenry. They remind us to question, to investigate, and to demand accountability from our leaders. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more intriguing content.